Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente, Friday, April 24th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, the biggest trend that we can see is the Trends Monthly. It's arrived. You should have it. It's bigger. It's better. It's action and fact-packed like nothing out there in the media world. It's history before it happens. And we also bring you a unique special, the Presidential Reality Show. That's right. This is just the beginning. Hey, we got 19 months left. Woo! What a show, what a show. The greatest show on earth. And we're going to give you insights, analysis, not only looking at it for what a freak show it is, but how it's going to affect us now and in the future. So, please take a good look at your Trends Monthly. We always welcome feedback. And again, you're going to see, even by today's trends in the news, how we've been ahead of the trends and on top of the news. So, the markets, up a little bit on the good news that Wall Street cuts growth outlook for first quarter and beyond. The surprise decline in March durable goods reports weaken the already anemic outlook for first quarter growth and dim the prospects for a big second quarter bounce. And this is from CNBC. The first quarter has been flush with disappointments, the biggest of which was perhaps the March employment report. Just 126,000 non-farm payrolls were created, about 120,000 less than expected. Deutsche Bank economists on Friday cut their Q1 forecast a full percentage point to 0.7%. They're all downgrading them. So, it's not only the bad weather that brought down the first quarter. You look at Caterpillar's, for instance, their earnings, worldwide slowdown. It's not only here, it's around the world. Oils, and gold, took a big hit today, down over 18 bucks. And when I say a slowdown, here we go. Bottom of the second page of the Financial Times. Slowest growth in 2 years fuels calls for South Korea stimulus. Stimulus, another nice word for pumping in fake money to prop up them equity markets. And boy, they is propped up nicely, all hitting new highs. As I said, history before it happens in the Trends Journal. A story on fast foods and how we've been talking about clean foods. We did a story years ago, actually in my book, Trends 2000, that the hot item to look for in the fast food market, we call it Buddha burgers and Karma Cola. I think it was back in the mid-90s, when there was supposed to be a New Age movement, and how there was an opportunity for that. We've seen it, and it's been taking place. But there's a lot more to it. And while that sector will continue to grow as we had forecast, there's a lot more to look at. And it's right here in the numbers, but it's also in the Trends Journal. Here today, earnings report. Dunkin' Brands announced higher sales and earnings despite the winter's nasty weather. Revenues at Dunkin's, which includes Baskin-Robbins, as well as Dunkin' Donuts, rose 8.1%. So, there's a lot more to this whole fast food movement than meets the regular eye, but we give it a lot of depth, and you'll read more about it. Moving on to some international news. BBC. Deadly capsized captain in court. How's that for?
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
There you go, man. That's how they're dealing with this tragedy of people fleeing the war-torn areas of northern Africa and other parts of Africa and the Middle East that have been destabilized by Americans and their NATO and Arab League allies. The man accused of captaining a boat that capsized off Libya with the loss of more than 750 lives has appeared in court on the Italian island of Sicily. Prosecutors want to charge Mohammed Ali Malek, a 27-year-old Tunisian, with homicide and people trafficking. Hey, here's a little story. We'll put that on the side for just a second. Fighting prompts an exodus from Yemen, often on boats. Hey, are you guys too stupid to put it together? Or you don't want to call the real people that should be charged with homicide the murderers that caused this destabilization? Hey, you need some names? How about the Saudi family? Yeah, the monarchy. How about Obama? Oh, you know, the guy, the peace candidate. Well, let's see. Bomb in Syria, great job in bombing Libya, still bomb in Iraq and Afghanistan. How about those people being brought up for homicide? Again, history before it happens, a good story in the Trends Monthly, putting this together very quickly. But this is the hypocrisy. The boats, wooden dhows built to transport livestock, arrive almost daily in the East African port of Djibouti or farther north, where the distance across the water from Yemen is even shorter, around 20 miles. After 18 hours crammed with more than 100 refugees on one of those boats and a few steadying minutes on dry land, Nalaj, this guy they talk about, had already resolved that there was no going back to Yemen. Because the Saudis and the Americans are bombing the hell out of it. But don't get upset. Hey, what about those transgenders, huh? That's the issue in America. Yeah, gay marriages. None of the candidates talking about this. Nothing, zero. Hypocrisy, lunacy by lunatics in chief. No one's addressing the issue because it's the grand manipulation, front cover of your last Trends Journal. Want more proof? Here it is. Yes, the guy they wrote about in the New York Times, we wrote about it several issues ago, or a couple of years ago, actually, in the Trends Journal. David Petraeus. Yeah, he was that guy that had that great strategies in Iraq and Afghanistan that were going to bring these wars to successful ends. Yeah, him. And that guy became the CIA chief. And then he gave away classified information to his honey. Hey, was that the payoff for her, man? Yeah, you didn't do it in dollars, you did it in documents. Hey, call it what you want. The sentencing was a disappointment for one of FBI officials who believed that Attorney General Eric Holder, Jr., another disgrace of a human being, had given Mr. Petraeus professional treatment by allowing him to plead guilty to a misdemeanor and recommending that he receive probation instead of prison time. Petraeus receives probation for giving information to lover. Hey, I say he didn't give it to her. I say it was a payoff, man. Yeah. Hey, whether you're a prostitute on the street, or selling out for classified information, who knows? Let's dig deeper into this. It's the grand manipulation. When you're one of the boys on the top, you get a free ride. Whether you're a banking bandit or a disgrace, a traitor to America, as Petraeus and Holder. Yeah, Holder, hold this. And speaking about betrayers, Obama regrets drone strike that killed hostages. Remember that one? Yeah, that was the news yesterday and again today. I started thinking about this. Big deal. We're going to clean this up. Bombing people, you don't even know who they are. But it was okay. You know why? Because here we go. Josh Earnest. He had a little mouth for the White House over there. In the aftermath of a situation like this, it raises legitimate questions about whether additional changes need to be made to these protocols. How's that for horseshit language? Made to these protocols, sending in drones and blowing up people, man. What a protocol is that? How about murder and homicide? No, hey, I'm the president. Yeah, I could do what I want. I'm really good at killing people. That's what he said, not me. Ernst said, quote, what was targeted in 2 January strikes on the Afghan-Pakistan border, you know what it was? You know what it was. It was an Al-Qaeda compound. A compound. There are always compounds. Everybody knows what a compound looks like. Yeah, mud hut. Wedding parties. Thousands of people murdered. But hey, man, an Italian and an American got murdered by Obama, and now it's news. Forget those Yemenis that were killed. They don't count. Afghans, hey to you. What a Rockies. A drone is good for you in the back of the head. What hypocrisy. As Obama and Americans slaughter people throughout the world, prostitutes are talking about transgenders and the Kardashians. Hey, you see Bruce Jenner? Yeah, this is the news while they let this slide. But now, hey, you know how it is. One exceptional got killed. And you know what the family of this poor guy that got killed? Warren Weinstein's wife, U.S. efforts to rescue husband disappointing. Of course it was disappointing. You got a bunch of losers in charge. And I don't mean him, I'm not going after him when I'm saying exceptional. I'm saying that the hypocrisy is because an American was killed, Obama's forced to say something. But when they slaughter everybody else, there's not a peep from the prostitutes. And speaking of not a peep from the prostitutes, we did this story in the TrendsJournal a long time ago about how hydrofracking and shoving in millions and millions of gallons of water into the earth is causing earthquakes. Oh, and we lost subscribers for that. Well, now it's official. First, Oklahoma recognizes role in drilling in quakes, and now U.S. maps pinpoint earthquakes linked to quest for oil and gas. Isn't that nice? Linked to quest. Destroying the planet. But don't worry about it. We need more scientific proof. Remember, GMO foods are great for you. A little bit of chemicals in your coffee and in your bread and in your salad. It's not going to hurt. Cancer's nice. because you got a bunch of sick people in charge. You got cancer of the brain, mass murderers in charge, destroying beauty and peace on earth. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.